that's way up on the hill that's seasonally occupied, I believe. Behind us is all state land, and then Route 28 with nothing on the other side of the street except for the wayside, which is quite a ways away. So of the 9 acres that we will have, the park itself actually will only occupy 3, 5, something like that?
Roughly.
Yeah, 3 to 5 acres. It's a very compact design that allows for maximum use of the trees and the topography, etc., with minimal disturbance. We don't have to go in and log out everything, you know, cut down the standing dead trees. We've already identified all the trees that are good to use. We've had a professional arborist who is a certified arborist who is an expert on the application of trees for this particular use come up from Pennsylvania. We get a lot of money for that to happen so that we could get the best possible insight into how to design and construct this well.
And how does this go with the scenic byway? It's right on the highway, good. No problem.
Scenic, I'll reiterate for the umpteenth time. Scenic byway carries no regulation whatsoever. It is not a law. It is simply a designation of the road, and it is used primarily for marketing purposes.
And
actually, this would go hand in hand with.
Exactly.
yeah,
It would be a main attraction on the scenic byway website also.
any other questions?
Other questions? I do have a few things to add. So, Anik, you had a rather lengthy list in the email that you sent us this weekend. And again, I'm going to tell you, as I responded to you, that you were full of, you had a lot of misinformation given to you and incorrect information. First off, spot zoning, as you've heard from other people, is where you plop down a lot that is not adjacent. There was no zoning adjacent to that lot.
Just
So-
in New York State.
You've had plenty. You've had your opportunity. I'm just going to explain and clarify. So we are bringing the R5 wholly within the lot. The R5 is already on the lot. We are just making it wholly on the lot. What was curious is last week when you came to my office, you requested the letter that the town board was getting from our attorney. You requested a copy of that letter, correct?
No,
Yes, you
I
did.
asked for information.
You came in. I was in the office in the mailroom, in the copy room,
Yeah.
with the state comptroller, sitting there discussing something, and you stuck your head in, and you said, I understand that you were getting a letter from the attorney
No,
regarding this.
I asked if you had spoken with him and if you had
No,
information.
you did not say
I didn't ask for a
that.
letter.
You said you asked for a letter from the attorney.
I
So
filled
the
out
question,
another issue.
I'm sorry, you had your opportunity, and you actually say here about attorney's letters requesting, that you didn't get any information from the attorney or any referrals.
Right, information.
So I have the letter here.
Great.
You are not privy to it. The question comes that this was an email that was sent amongst town board members requesting that we contact an attorney to see if this is spot zoning. Question then comes, how did you find out that we were requesting information from our attorney if it was an internal document or a memo between town board members requesting a confidential advisement from our attorney? Now, the attorney did send a letter, and he says it is not spot zoning. And he quotes case law where he says it is not spot zoning. He admits that in the law itself, it says there's supporting documentation from the comprehensive plan saying that this is a good idea to do this. So we are all set, we are good to go. I've sent it over to the county for the referral. So that was one issue. And then we'll get to the bottom, we will find out if somebody on this board is releasing information to the public that they're not privy to release to you. I'm just telling you.
Nobody did. It was my.
They didn't have it, that's why.
No.
I did not forward it to them.
One of the NEEC's attorneys brought up the issue of spot zoning. We had no information to address whether or not it was. So it appeared that it might be.
Okay.
And I wanted to know if you had spoken to an attorney.
And I believe at the town board meeting when I spoke about it, and Kathy, you weren't present because you got there late. At the opening remarks that I give, I make statements, and Joyce, you can check the minutes on that, where I explained this whole detail. that the zoning split the lots, and we were just simply wholly making the lots R5. So it was explained fully at the board meeting, even though you were not in attendance early on, so it was out there, the information was out there. We are not required, just so you know, we are not required to notify adjacent landowners on a zoning change. Again, a curious point is that our zoning map amendment. A curious point is several years ago, we had a wholehearted change, not just simply bringing the zoning line in line on the whole parcel, but there were 14 or 15 parcels in the hamlet of Pine Hill that went directly from residential to commercial. Straight up, they just went wholly into a commercial zone. Nobody batted an eyelash. People in Pine Hill were okay with it. Again, that community was saying this is what we'd like to do. Here you have people in Big Indian saying, hey, this is a good idea, we'd like to see this done. And you're doing, you know, I don't know where you were going with this. So, again, because, as John said, it makes us second guess ourselves all the time, having people like constantly berating you and saying, what are you doing, what are you doing, what are you doing, when you think you're doing the right thing by the community. And you're making it's coming across as if you're not, like somebody's really upset with you. So I was really trying to figure out, I kept asking board members, why is Neek upset about this? Why is this coming down this way? So, again, just to make sure, I called Dennis Doyle, County Planning, and we are going to have to follow a different tack. He is not against this. He says, just the same as with the Pine Hill rezoning, the county really doesn't, you know, it's our zoning, it's home rule, it's all these issues. But the issue comes that in order to move the zoning line, when it comes to specifically addressing a project, that needs to come directly from the planning board. So it happens concurrent. So the planning board, we will be advising the planning board to act as lead agency on behalf of the town board, to do the zoning hand in hand with the project applicant's proposal. So when he goes through site plan, and his seeker is done for his site plan, the seeker will be done for the zoning map amendment. The zoning map amendment will then be sent to the town board to be voted on, adopted as a law, and it's all done. So that way they know that one, the project meets the environmental review, and two, that the zoning map amendment meets the environmental review when it's hand in hand. He said the difference was back in the day when we did zoning in Pine Hill, when we did the zoning in Pine Hill, that was clearly just the board stating, we would like to move this zone onto all of Main Street to make it commercial. So again, I explained this to David just prior to the meeting. I was given this information just this morning by Mr. Doyle. Of what was interesting though, and it's really disheartening, that I really feel that there's been a ploy of just, I don't know how to describe it, paranoia, hysteria, to drive this issue with some people. Because Harry, you'll be interested to know that I was informed today that the reason Neek is concerned possibly about this is because there's a rumor that we're going to use this to set a precedent in order to go down to rezone the area for the railroad cars to sit there, which is wholly incorrect. I mean, I've never had any kind of conversation with you on rezoning anything. I don't believe Warren has. I asked Warren about it. That has never been, I'm telling you, has never even been a consideration for us. That is taking its course through the zoning and planning boards. Matter of fact, I don't even know where it is right now, but I'm letting you know. This has nothing to do with a railroad issue or setting a precedent. It is not, and again, it's not setting a precedent. Zoning codes are made to be amended. The comprehensive plan, there are 3 gentlemen in this room, myself included, who helped write that comp plan. We know it. And it's an open document. It's meant to be followed. It's meant to be, there's suggestions in there. So I'm sorry that you've gotten involved in this. I appreciate that you're supporting this project, but there really is no ulterior motive that would be to not your benefit. Okay? Just letting you know. I don't know where that came from. Well, I do know where it came from, and the woman is sitting in the front row, which is, I got the word from Dennis Doyle that Ms. Nolan provided this information to me.
There's a lot of misinformation going the other way, and I'm feeling very attacked. I don't get paid. I care about my neighbors. I care about the town. I did check. I have friends who are lawyers. The first thing they said was spot zone. If our lawyer said something different, We could have had a talk when I came in Thursday. That's not what happened.
I had business to attend to, and I didn't have time to discuss it with you, one. But you're also not privy to what we get from our attorney. If we're doing a confidential advisement from our attorney, you are not privy to that.
And there's no need to attack me.
Again, what I was doing is I wasn't attacking you, but I was saying I was sorry that you were brought into this issue, and I think you were driven into this issue by something from outside.
No,
This had nothing to do with what you're battling down
Nobody
for.
drew me into this. I was in the planning board meetings and I was concerned. I saw the reactions of others in the meetings and I started to ask questions. Nobody drew me into this.
Okay, very good.
Continued conspiracy of obstructionism,
Well,
that's the problem. On the part of two people.
we're going to adjourn this public hearing. Thank you all for your comments, appreciate it. But we will be referring this to the planning board. They will be reviewing this on a concurrent application. Both projects will move ahead. It should be really a no-brainer from my perspective. But the seeker will be done through the planning board. We simply have to do a resolution next month to our November meeting, asking the planning board to act as lead agency on the town board's behalf for the enactment of any zoning map amendment that may have to occur to help this project move forward. Okay?
We need a motion.
Thank you. I need a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor? I'd like to open up our town board meeting. Please, we still have to continue with other business. Make a motion to open a regular meeting or a special meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
We do this, so we won't do the secret, there's no point in the secret, but we have the local law.
Local law.
Local law number 1, 2017, resolution 1/2017. Adopting town of Shandaken local law number 1 of 2017, a local law to override the tax levy limit established in general municipal law, section 3-C. Whereas the town of Shandaken foresees the necessity to exceed the tax levy limit established in general municipal law, sections 3-C. Whereas the town of Shandaken Town Board held a public hearing on Thursday, October 16, 2017, at the Shandaken Town Hall to hear all those in favor and against the adoption of said law in accordance with general municipal law. Therefore, be it resolved that the town of Shandaken Town Board does hereby adopt local law number 1 of 2017 in order to allow the town to exceed the tax levy limit imposed for the 2018 fiscal year budget for the town of Shandaken and move its adoption.
I'll second that.
Board Member Alba?
Yes.
Board Member DeScalani?
No.
You have a proposal to reduce it below the 2%?
I've not been asked, but I can come up with something probably.
Well, I hope to see it at the budget hearing. Thank you.
Rosenau? Board Member Malloy?
Yes.
Board Member Storms? Yes. Supervisor Campbell?
Yes. As I said, we'll withdraw 12117 as it does not fall in our purview at this point. But we will certainly support the project moving forward, and I hope the planning board does it with the same expediency. So with that, I have some other documents here I can give out to the board as well. So I had done a little bit of homework. You can take these. These are sheets basically showing you the ones in red are basically the uses that will not be allowed on those parcels that become wholly R5. These out here. Okay, that's just for your general use knowledge. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Carries. Thank you, folks. Some kind of ulterior motive here for us to use this as a precedent in order to change the zoning of the railroad. guys are the same. I told you all this guys. We had concerns that if the president said it, I was going to say it.
So you're now the point of this, and whoever the other one is also probably was not me. Because you didn't talk to me, right? Why do you go to public hearing? Now if somebody else sends in some information between now and when.
I should have come in, though, I wish we had say
It's amazing that it we're sending